You got to have a concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Cap Stadium Series is definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan, I always have been, and to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me, and just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you could feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
and welcome to episode 415 of Sports on the Hill podcast. I'm joined with Champ tonight. How you doing, Champ?
I'm good, man. Been a decent weekend. Been a decent couple weeks, and you know, just hanging in there. Can't wait to talk about the Defenders. They're in the championship, and we gonna be there.
I know, I'm really excited. Sorry, I'm adjusting my levels real quickly. I realize I'm a little bit low. I think that's a little better up there. All right, well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. The Defenders will be our main topic, as you can see on the screen. But right now, Indiana just hit some free throws. They're up 71-67 on the Mystics. We've got a live Mystics game on tonight, so that'll be very exciting. We also have the NBA Finals going on. We got the Knicks are playing the Spurs. Tickets for this one are just crazy, Champ. Like I heard that the cheapest tickets were like $9,000. Spike Lee almost sold his second ticket because they were offering $500,000 to sit next to Spike Lee. So you could pay for the whole season all at once.
It's funny because they were supposed to have view parties for this game, but because the felon-in-chief is attending, they canceled all of the watch parties because they put up like a barricade around Madison Square Garden because Homeboy was attending. And I'm just like, he always finds a way to make things that are supposed to be fun, not fun. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, no, my daughter has made an appearance. I'm gonna have to put her back to bed. But all right, we've all right. So yeah. Anyway, it's interesting because I think that the commander in chief has maybe jinxed the Knicks. They're having a bit of a tough start here, and Danhausen is supposedly there. I haven't seen him yet, but we're going to enter the second quarter with the Knicks being down. But we'll have some live coverage.
Danhausen's going to be there because I think he's still in Europe with the rest of WWE.
No, they said that was all pre-taped and that he's in the building. So I don't know. That's what I read online. But I the internet's a funny thing, so you can only believe so much. Anyway, why don't you start talking about the Defenders and this awesome week, and I'll be right back.
Absolutely. So the Defenders came into this playoff game literally on a 4-game losing streak, including losing 2 in a row to the team that they were playing in this playoff game, being the Orlando Storm. So conventional wisdom says that Defenders might be at a disadvantage, but if there's one thing about football that you learn that from the NFL, it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season. And you normally get that when you have division rivals facing each other in the playoffs, and usually when it's the division rival, one side of it has done like the season sweep. You go into the third game, you're thinking, oh, they might win it. And then the team ends up getting the victory. So they avoid getting beat 3 times in one season. And that's what happened here. DC came into this one. Remember, Jordan Ta'amu was out for the season with torn ACL. They had Jason Bean as their starting quarterback, and Jason Bean played pretty well, 18 of 33 for 233 yards and a touchdown. Didn't throw an interception, thank goodness. Spencer Sanders did come in for one pass play, and he threw an interception. So that's why I'm pretty sure he's not going to start that championship game coming up on Saturday. It'll be Jason Bean, but a good day for Bean with the Defenders ended up winning the game by a score of 28-22 to advance to what they're now calling the United Bowl. It was just the UFL Championship, but now the United Bowl. And the crazy part is that the Defenders, even though this is their home stadium, on UFL's official website, they're listed as the road team because of their seeding in the playoffs as the 4th seed, while the Kings are coming in as the 2 seed. So that's why they're listed as the home team, even though it's in our home stadium. Jack Plummer for Orlando, who had killed us for 5 touchdowns combined in the 2 games we played towards the end of the season, only had 1 touchdown with 15 of 28, 226 yards. He did also throw an interception. The run game for the Defenders was really good, 36 carries as a team for 172 yards. Abram Smith and Deion Jackson both scoring rushing touchdowns. Briley Moore had what I thought was the play of the game, mossing and basically like going up for a rebound, backing out and posting out on the defender to make the catch and then run it in for the touchdown, 33 yards. That was 33 of his 55 total receiving yards that he had with 4 catches and that touchdown. So the defenders were able to figure out how to deal with the Orlando Storm and beat them when it counted the most, and that was in this playoff game. Now they await, as I mentioned, the Louisville Kings, who beat the St. Louis Battlehawks later on in that yesterday evening to set up now another opportunity for the defenders to avoid getting beat 3 times in one season by one team. They did it against Orlando, and now they do it in their home stadium against the team that's one of the newer teams that they weren't able to figure out. It's going to be a very difficult matchup here, especially when you're working with a backup quarterback or the third quarterback in Jason Bean. And there's a lot that they have to do here in order to be able to hoist that trophy one more time. One of the things is they definitely got to run the ball, because it's clear in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, the run game has become the bread and butter for this offense. So they need to definitely rely on that run game to make sure that it's not completely on Jason Bean to try to bring home back-to-back UFL championships. But we'll have to see. But I cannot wait to be in the venue with Robbie, with my fiance, both our sons, as well as Arun as well. And that's going to be a great time. I tell you what.
Yeah, we're going to sit in the supporter section for the first time, which I'm excited. Mystics just hit a 3 to cut it to 3 with 2 minutes left. So they're still in this game here. We're going to bring in a friend of the show, Evan, who was last time when he was on the podcast, actually called in, and he was at the championship game last year, and he was flying back, and he landed at the airport and called us from the airport and gave us his play-by-play of what it was like to be at the game and stuff like that. Evan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. You hear me?
I can.
All right.
There you go.
Sorry about my blurry camera. I need to upgrade phones.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Well, we used to do a call-in show, so it's cool that we even get to see our guests. So it's I appreciate you joining us here tonight, and let's talk about it. You sit in the supporter section, right? You sit in the Beer Snakes section.
Fan, yeah, and I'm at the very bottom.
Yeah, so he always gets there really early, and you're one of the guys that often is holding the snake, right? So you
anchor it.
Starts it. Yeah, I'm the one starts it. I've been cutting it close this year though, in terms of getting early. I mean, we've had a lot of noon start time, so that's like I got to get up at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. That's rough. I wonder if some of our attendance woes that we've had a little bit throughout the season is because of these early starts. It's a rough time for people to get there, especially because there's a lot of fans of the Defenders that actually live all over the East Coast. And because there's not a lot of Northeast teams, right? So there are fans from Pittsburgh to Philly to Buffalo that this is their closest team, and so they've adopted the Defenders, and they're season ticket holders, but they have to drive, and so it's a commitment to make that drive and then be there for sure. So
we have a guy up from Vermont in our group, so
yeah, that's crazy. Talk to our fans a little bit about what it's like to go to a championship game since you've been there, and then I'm gonna do a little update on one of my settings is wrong, so I might flicker out for a second. But talk a little bit about you've been a season ticket holder, but also you went to a championship game, and also what it means to you to have it come now to DC.
Well, I don't think there's been anyone that's been like the same experience really, because so I've gone pretty much every year to the XFL/UFL championships since 2023. First one was in San Antonio. Then we had back-to-back St. Louis. I mean, obviously St. Louis is going to be kind of a similar experience. But San Antonio, we might have had the best like pregame festivities on that day. We like rented out a local like bar down there in San Antonio that was like walkable distance to the stadium, and we built our own beer snake.
Nice.
And it got long. We needed an entire group to carry it, and we walked it over to the stadium.
Nice.
Where the XFL at the time kind of had an issue with that. So we basically put it into bins, broke it up, put it into bins, and they put it on the defender sideline.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there was that. So and then 24, the defenders weren't in it. That was the Stallions and the Brahmas.
Right.
So we didn't really have much of like a pregame for us. Pregame for me that day was just kind of going around the stadium, all the festivities that they had there. That was the year that were sponsored by the U.S. Army, so they had a whole bunch of like U.S. Army stuff there. There was like a football like field goal cannon game that we played.
Nice.
But that was interesting. And then the Stallions blew out the Brahmas in that game.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Wasn't a great final. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next year it was us versus Michigan last year. And we went to a local bar in St. Louis that was also walkable, and we had our there was quite a few fans that flew out for that, and we had our festivities there. Yeah, so
that's so cool. I'm so excited that they're bringing it here, and I bought tickets just because I've always wanted to go to a UFL Championship, and I'm just so happy that we made it. Though what a great story.
I'm glad we made it, but I'm also glad that I get to save money on travel expenses, because I think I spent like nearly $1,000 last year on hotel, flight.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would like to not spend that $1,000. So
it's nice. And if you're a season ticket holder,
work the whole week and all that, whereas this time I'm just calling out, I think, 3 days.
Nice. And as a season ticket holder, you guys had early access and the regular pricing, right? So so it's that's a great deal. So we're Champ and I bought tickets. Right when they went on sale, I went because I didn't know what was going to happen, with them, and I was able to get six tickets.
It's looking packed out. It's looking packed out this time. They opened up the upper deck.
Oh, nice. I can't wait.
They had to open up the upper deck, so we're thinking 15 to 18K.
Nice. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, we got seats in the section right over from you guys because they didn't really that supporter section is almost impossible to get. But we were still able to get a set of 6 tickets for $25 a ticket. I was like, this is the best deal ever. I was like, even if we're not in it, I'm in. So
we got 35, 135.
Yeah, 135. 136, I think.
So technically that's what my tickets are, 136, but they don't really care. As long as it's the standing sections, then you can pretty much go wherever you want.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Come over to 137
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so I'm excited that we got those tickets, and I definitely want to come over and say hi to everybody, but we may sit up higher just because my son is so small that I just feel like the higher up we go, like the easier it is for him to probably see.
Yeah,
my son is also short as well, so
yeah, exactly.
I went up high for the first time since 2020, last home game versus Orlando. Just because we were doing the tarps off.
Right.
All the tarps off, went up to the top of the section.
Nice.
I have backup people to hold the snake while I do stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I had forgotten how good of a view it is up there.
Yeah,
'Cause
I mean, honestly, the
sit down
stadium
at
is
field
so
level.
tight
Weird.
that like there's not a really a bad seat. Champ, you and I sat on the top, over there, in one of the sections, I guess more corner, but it still was a good view. And then we moved under the awning on that rain pouring down game, last year,
Oh,
and
that was a fun game. Oh
yeah,
my
it's a crazy game. So that was one that we got to. We usually go to the last game of the season every year, but this year we decided, I was like, it's here. Let's just use our tickets and hope we make it to the real last game of the season. So so I'm
So
happy.
technically, the streak stays alive. We are
It
going to
does.
be going to their last game of the season at home.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's true. Yep. So it's really exciting. A little bit of a scoring update. Spurs just made a basket, but it's the Knicks have made it a lot closer. It's 42-38 San Antonio with 7 minutes left, and with 36 seconds left, they fouled Indiana, and
The fourth quarter?
yeah, it's in the fourth quarter, and in the Indiana Washington Fever game, and they just missed both free throws. Caitlin Clark missed both free throws. Washington Mystics are up 1 point here. There's 14 seconds left on the shot clock, 23 seconds left in the game. We're just gonna stay here for a second because it's kind of an exciting ending here for the Mystics. And yeah, exactly. Oh, they threw it away though, and they're trying to pass it up. Oh, and they get a bucket here. Indiana scores, unfortunately, off of a bad play by the Mystics. A good steal there by Indiana. They take a 1 point lead, but 11.3 seconds. We're gonna have the last shot here. A timeout called as they try to figure themselves out here. But that's exciting. I'm just happy the Mystics are on NBC Sports tonight, which is like the regional NBC Sports that they've recreated for Peacock now. Like they brought it back. Remember, it went away for a while. So it's a way for them to show what's on Peacock on cable, right? So I'm just happy because this is like actually the first Mystics game I've seen not on Monumental. So
that's I have a whole bunch of DC Sports jerseys. I've been holding out on the women's teams. I need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm actually wearing in their honor right now a Mystics. We've got
there we go.
The champions because they won the 3 in a row. We actually have
We need to
newer
add
merch.
the Valor on there.
I actually have the Valor and the Defenders on the season 10 merch. And if we win again, I'm going to make special edition season 11 merch that will have back-to-back champions. So that's there we go. So that's what we're going for.
Winning it last year, like in the dome, was cool, but
yeah,
it was just our little group, so it felt like a little more personal. But Saturday with 18, possibly 18K Defenders fans.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we can say 17,000 Defenders fans and maybe 1,000 fans from Louisville.
Right, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Louisville. Yeah, let's talk about Louisville a little bit. So we lost to them twice, and I just honestly don't remember. Bean was their quarterback, but did not play in those games, right? Did he beat us, or it was the other guy, right?
We had Bean both games, but Teamu started.
So we already had Bean for both of the Louisville games?
Yeah, we had Bean, but he was third string behind Sanders. So even
that's what I said earlier. He was the third quarterback.
Was put in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's why. So, but it's interesting because it's sort of like they're trash, right? They got rid of Bean, and so it's an opportunity for him to come
One
back.
Man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, he played great, and he's such a gamer in this. I mean, he got hurt, and he saw oh my God, that pick killed me because I was literally sitting there before the play even happened, praying. I said, just throw it in the dirt if it's not there. Anything but a turnover here. And immediately, I don't even say it out of my mouth because I know I was going to jinx it. Just even the thought of it, and it happened right away. I'm like, God damn it! Like,
I wish I got on video. I kind of wish I got on video. I was at the watch party I've been at pretty much every watch party this year.
Nice.
Yeah, the second Sanders threw that pick, we were all so pissed.
Yeah. Well, especially because
I even tweeted out after that. I never want to see him in a game again. And,
Yeah.
and if
Right,
he has,
right.
And if he has to, we're running the ball every play. Like I
Yeah,
don't even care
Wildcat,
if they
do
know that's
something.
coming.
I don't know. That was god awful. I'm starting to think though, whoever we have third string is maybe better than that. But like, so it was especially because we'd used our special challenge, which I love this special challenge that you can
Oh
challenge
yeah,
anything to stop a 60-yard touchdown,
yeah.
and
We
then you just
couldn't
like
do anything about this one.
right, and then you give this one away. But what a great challenge to say that, hey, the center is being held here. He knew what he wanted, and
So
yeah,
I've been
yeah,
pretty against using the challenges early.
yeah,
I usually want to save it for the last like 2 minutes of the game,
yeah.
but I would say that was a good use of the challenge.
Yeah, no, that's a momentum changing moment. They score a
Oh yeah.
touchdown there. I don't think we win this game. I feel that just because I feel like
I mean,
momentum
yeah,
would have
it was a 6-point
backslid.
game at the end of the day.
Right, yeah. So, but even right then, I think it would have not. It would have snowballed, right? It would have given them a
Yeah.
lot of confidence, and would have undone a lot of the good that we did. I have to say that 61-yard field goal, though, for 4 points,
Oh, that
just
was huge.
really was huge, right? Because he had already missed one earlier. And this was such a great way for him to like come back and make it up for the team. And just I can't believe 3 4-point field goals were made in one day in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, that was
Louisville had a guy who hit 2 of them. So I mean, we have to watch out that they've got a guy who can do it too.
you
But that's
basically can't let
crazy.
him across the 50.
Yeah, it's like that's that's wild to me that there was 3 successful ones in the one day of playoffs. I mean, it was. I think they should add that to
The
the
NFL
NFL.
needs to bring a rule in. Like,
Yeah, I think so too. Like, how exciting is that? Because it's not easy, and there's a three
no,
pointer in like
I mean they're making it
basketball.
look easy.
These guys, I think, are going to be lost at the end of the season, though, right? If they can hit these 60-yarders, why?
Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
the
wouldn't
NFL's
the
about to be calling them real quick.
right? Like that's better than a lot of people's backups. You know, like I don't know.
You know who's
I
not going to be
wish the
happy about that?
defenders. I wish the
My bad.
defenders were the farm team of the Skins,
Mm.
because I don't want to see these guys play for like Dallas or Philly.
Right. I do too. Yeah, I would be. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean,
I do got to say, though, that I know with all these guys that are making 60-yard field goals, you know who's not happy about their prospect of them coming to the NFL? Brandon fucking Aubrey.
exactly.
Because he wants to be the only one that can make 60-yarders and stuff like that. When you bring these kids up here, he's gonna be salty.
You've already got Jake Bates in Detroit too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Wow.
Yeah, I was watching when Michigan played DC last year in DC during the regular season. Oh no. Was it last year?
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't think we played them in the regular season last year.
They played sometime in the regular season in the last few years. It was in DC, and in warm-ups, I'm there stupid early, so I get to see these guys like kick warm-ups and all that stuff. And Bates was just the lengths that he was going in warm-ups was insane. Like he was booting it from like about behind the 50-yard line, and it was getting to our net, like with room to spare. I'm like, how is this guy not in the NFL? Like,
I know. I feel like and that's why I was surprised that he missed such a gimme early in the game. I was like, oh no, because he missed a couple last week too, and
McCrane honestly is okay. So he's been missing a little bit more down the stretch here. I don't know if I want to jinx anything now, but he's kind of already been jinxed. So we had an event, like a dinner type event with the team before the first Louisville game when they were in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the trophies there, both last year's and this year's. And we were like, Stanley Cup rules, don't touch this year's trophy, all that stuff. And they were doing like an interview with all the guys there, like they brought their rings and all that stuff. and McCrane goes over and he just straight up picks up the new trophy and is holding it. And we're me, district defender, we're all just we're like, they're still doing their interview, but we were like you know how you like kind of scream but you don't, but like
Right.
silent scream. We're
Right, yeah.
yeah. I'm like, oh no, he got cursed.
I was kind of doing a silent scream a second ago. The Mystics get 2 free throws, or have the lead with 4 seconds left, and Caitlin Clark drains a 3 to win it against us.
Oh God, fucking Caitlin Clark.
So, yeah. Anywho, that's how that game.
That's a good segue into Mystics talk, because that makes that makes 2 losses in a row.
The last one, our coach got escorted by police out of the building. She got so mad. So that's
when you lose 109 to 77 to the Atlanta Dream, you would be pissed off too.
I mean, I think it was in the 3rd quarter she was removed. But anyway, she was cursing at the refs and they ejected her and she wouldn't leave and they had to escort her out. It was a whole thing.
That's great. Plus, bring some excitement to the WNBA. They just got a new collective bargaining agreement.
What happened if that happened? Like if a coach gets ejected, but they just to leave.
The referees have referees in most sports have the discretion to actually tell the police to go take them away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, most sports that's true, and clearly in the WNBA it is. So
drag me off this court.
Yeah. Referees have crazy abilities. They can throw anybody out of the building at any time.
That's crazy to me. Like, if you have that power, you better be responsible.
Right. But I mean, the league owns these guys, so if you used it irresponsibly, you're out. You know what I mean? There's not so
that just reminds me of baseball umps.
Oh yeah.
Umps have it too. Absolute hell out of me.
Yeah.
There was that one time 2 or 3 decades ago that I saw where guy played the organist played 3 blind mice and the umpire rejected him.
Yes, I remember that.
You should not have that much power, dude.
Oof. Jalen Brunson just took a huge hit, and they're doing an official review to see if it's more than just a common foul. Spurs are up 4 points with 2:59 left here in the 2nd quarter.
Was it a football hit or?
Yeah, I mean, he just a full on extension. He wanted to sell it, so just to get the call. But
that's another thing I hate about basketball: the flopping. I hate it. Can't stand it.
Well, at least taking is done. Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Thank God that we got the 1st overall pick once that happened.
Yeah, that's exactly.
If I ever hear anybody else talking about tanking again, I'm gonna kick them in the face. Because I'm done with this.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, Evan, any final thoughts that you have? We're going to switch gears and talk a little. We're actually going to talk wrestling, and then we can talk a little Mystics and Nats after that. Champ just kind of is jumping on. But Evan, I wanted to give you any final thoughts, and you're welcome to join us next week for our spring season finale, where we'll recap win or lose whatever happens. This.
I hope I'll be in a good mood then.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to decide now, but if so.
Hey, I'm gonna come holler at you at the game, bro. What section you gonna be in?
Yeah, come over. 137. That's where we start the snake every game.
I bet. I'm gonna come holler at you.
First row. First row. Everyone get tickets. They're cheap, and pack the place out.
I'm excited,
even if you're not a Defenders fan,
if you're a fan of 50 Cent, if you're a fan of 50 Cent, come. You can. Mixmaster Mike, if you're a fan of the Beastie Boys, he's going to be the DJ of the day, which is kind of cool.
That's dope.
So I'm going to need them to have a much better production with 50 Cent than they did with Wale.
Yeah, I heard the Wale wasn't so good.
That Wale was rough.
So, hopefully the league
was rough on TV watching. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I'm in the Beer Snake section, and we didn't hear any of it.
That's not good.
Like,
I hope 50 don't get treated like that.
Yeah.
Because if they do, they're going to end up on Instagram. Because 50 will roast you on Instagram, bro.
he didn't even come on the field. He was over like under the scoreboard, over by like the 117 section.
Yeah,
Like
they
that.
gotta do better. They've been selling this as a 50 concert. Like if they can't fuck this up, I feel like.
Oh
they
yeah, I
gotta-
mean, I've been seeing it. I've just seen the ads for weeks now. Like,
Yeah, they're selling that more than the football game. So I just like if I feel like they're gonna get roasted if they fuck this up. You know, like
Yeah.
so.
Robbie, you remember last year when we had that they had the weather delay and
Yeah.
the game went so late, they had to put up a thing saying they had to stop all sounds because of the noise curfew.
Yes.
oh my!
Thankfully, this game is starting so early that hopefully that doesn't happen.
Imagine. Just imagine.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. The Knicks just got 3 back-to-back field goals, tied it at 56 now with just under 2 minutes left. So,
All right, so
we'll
And
see.
how's it
last 2 minutes.
uncursing didn't it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Hard to beat a team 3 times again.
Yep. So let's hope that happens.
Let's go defenders. Shields
Yeah.
up.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us, and
problem.
looking forward to meeting you in person this weekend. And hopefully, if people are watching, they'll come and we shall get a group picture.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever wants
Oh,
to.
yeah.
And,
Come on.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right.
Peace out,
Later.
bro.
All right. With that, we're going to bring in Sith. It's been an exciting.
Good old man shaking his hand for shit. What happened? Seth?
Yeah.
What happened?
I think I just saw something on Netflix that makes AMC's version of Interview with the Vampire almost look decent. They're redoing Cape Fear to a miniseries. I started watching it after Raw, and I'm like, the fuck are you doing?
That's
Yeah.
why he's the old man. He's always shaking his fist at the clouds. Look at him.
Right, there you go. So I saw Raw earlier. I have to say, I love it on Netflix, because you could watch it live. One of the things I don't like is the Netflix app on the phone. If I try to scroll ahead or move to other parts of it, it gives me 8 ads in a row again. And it's very frustrating to view it in the mobile experience. And
That is why when I watched it today, I made sure I was home on my Wi-Fi with the VPN in Brisbane, Australia.
Right, and I do that too. But I was at a doctor's appointment, sitting in the and the thing, I was just trying to scroll around and watch some of the game, but it's just my gripe. Anyway, that's I understand serving me the ad, fine, but then if I scroll ahead within the next 10 minutes, let's say, you don't serve it to me again. It did it 3 times in a row, champ. I was about to throw my phone out the window. So
God.
yeah, and so, but even with that being said, the Knicks just went on a huge run right there. They just took a 62-57 lead. Spurs try to answer. They don't get it. We're going to hold it here for the last 30 seconds of this first half. 25 seconds left. Brunson is back from that little back thing earlier, so I'm happy to see that. He's holding it. We've got 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 14 now in the game clock here. He's driving, stutter step, passes down low. Karl Anthony Towns gets fouled. It does not go, but with 9.6 seconds, it looks like Cat's going to go to the line here. But Sith, what were your thoughts? I love, just my takeaway, I just want to say my favorite part was Chad Gable and how they brought him back into this and made him of the hero of the Luchadors. They really flipped this script, and I was very curious how they were going to pivot after that amazing AAA match. And him saving Rey Mysterio's mask, I thought was a really nice and touching full circle moment, to the story. What were some of your thoughts about that and the whole card today?
Great way to really do Chad Gable getting a redemption arc angle. It's something I mentioned to my nephew earlier. We were watching it together earlier this afternoon, and I told him, I said, this is a perfect redemption arc angle. He took a complete shit on luchadors and the traditions and everything, and I said, this is the perfect way to bring it full circle, give him a redemption arc. So whether he ends up on SmackDown, NXT, or on Raw, he'll be good to go. He can then eventually go down to AAA, have bigger matches down there as well, because they cheered him once he embraced it. They cheered him over there in AAA. So he'll come up as a big babyface over there as well. I think that I know the original intention was to try to give him something to do because he was stuck in the mid card. And then he had that freak injury when he was El Grande and whatnot originally. But they really put him into a good redemption arc angle. Overall, first and foremost, anyone who said that Oba is getting buried, y'all can sit down and shut the fuck up. No.
It was a good opening segment, I thought. It was
And I have a prediction. I have a way to do Oba Rock 3. There's got to be a stipulation, whether it's at Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden or in Minnesota. Last man standing. Okay. The Battle of the Giants, Battle of the Bohemians. You can do 7 F5s. You can do 7 falls from graces. I want to see the loser lose by 10 count, that being Rock. That way it is cemented. This guy is the heir apparent to being the next big thing. And that is a rub that you can give Oba. And, you know, we can still have Lesnar go off to the great beyond, well, until Saudi Arabia next year, because Saudi Arabia has a habit of bringing people out of retirement, is why I say that for the shows out there. But I think that I would like to see whether it's at SummerSlam or Saturday Night's main event next month. I want to see Last Man Standing. That way you can get Oba massively over. He'll get that rub. And down the road, it's going to be Roman.
Do you still think
I think he might be Roman.
Last week we talked about how we thought that that Brock would interfere and he wouldn't be able to win King of the Ring. Do you still think that that's going to happen?
I think that'll either happen against Dom if the Judgment Day doesn't interfere, which they will, or in Saudi Arabia. If he makes it to the finals, he'll interfere in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
because
we need to get Sith. We need to get Sith a chef's coat and a chef hat because he cooking.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm cooking tonight, y'all. Y'all got cooking. Y'all got cooking Sith tonight because he's actually in a pretty good mood. Cape Fear side, he's in a good mood tonight. So that's what I would do. I would have Brock interfere. And then Oba gets a promo, the Raw, after that all goes down and says, I can't get you off my back. So I challenge you, last man standing. Let's end this here and now. I don't care if it's Saturday night's main event. I don't care if it's SummerSlam, last man standing. Let's see who the biggest beast is, type deal. And that will hook the fans in even more than they already are.
Oba called Brock Lesnar a bitch today.
Yes.
And I'm like, there needs to be a response. Brock can't let somebody call him a bitch like that.
Yeah.
Well, Brock will let you do 7, doesn't give out 7 F5s. And he doesn't want people to call him a bitch. Unlike certain people from Chicago, he can actually go in the octagon.
Why you had to do that, Seth? Why you had to do that to Phil Brooks like that? Why you had to do him like that?
That's very funny.
Because one of my favorite Stephanie Burns of all time is when they were in Chicago and they were during Raw one night and they were going CM Punk, and Stephanie, being the pro that she was, knew she had to get the segment back on track and said, if you could do this for another 2 hours and 30 minutes, you would last longer than Punk did. And that got the crowd completely back on track with the promo.
Right. Yeah, I used to like Brock back in the UFC. Like I love that, stuff like that. It sucks that his stomach issues came up because he was actually a pretty good UFC fighter.
Diverticulitis, I tell you, diverticulitis is a
That's painful
very
shit
dangerous.
right there.
It's a very dangerous disease. Like if it's not caught in time, it can literally kill you.
I'm impressed that he's been able to come back and have this wrestling career after that. To be totally honest, like it could have ended both, right? So.
Yeah, it could have.
So I want to talk real quickly about Liv Morgan, and I thought it's an interesting angle to have the champion in the competition because the competition is to try to go for a belt. It's interesting to expose her like that, but then she like fought through it, and I thought, what a great finish, having all of them finish. Poor Chelsea Green gets fucked over again, and just a great move by Liv. Sith, what are some of your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is one, I'm gonna say this about Liv, and people are not gonna like this at Hate the Judgment Day, and that's fine. The only reason why Liv is in that tournament is because Stephanie McCare has not been cleared. So they have to give Liv something to do because the women's division isn't that well developed where it comes to top tier contenders right now, where it comes to open storylines and whatnot with the heel champion. So I like what they're doing with Liv. The way I would have her lose Queen of the Ring is if she's cleared, have Stephanie McCare do it. Or if you've been paying attention to the backstage segments, Roxanne and Raquel, they're not happy with Liv right now because Liv is all about herself. And Dom, they could cost her the match.
Hey, you know what's funny? I saw a post on Facebook before I went and started doing Grubhub. It said that Liv Morgan is past 50 days as women's world champion and has not had one defense yet.
No defense yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? One of the first comments I saw was, "I missed the 30-day rule." Because back in the day in wrestling, if you didn't defend your championship in 30 days, you were stripped of it. That was usually what the storyline was and everything like that. But they don't really do that nowadays in this era.
Right, and she's still competing. It'd be one thing if she wasn't competing. Like they were just put her on one of the biggest events, of that, of the Raw, right? In a pretty big spot, and I thought she did pretty well. So it's going to be interesting to see because my theory is whoever beats her in this tournament is going to go on to win it all, and then their big rematch would then play into when they fight for that championship belt. So. That's kind of how I see it going. Because if you're right that they're trying to build up a storyline, you could do that within this, and then she loses at some point down the line, and then that person they have their big match, and her revenge kind of thing.
Hey Sith, Robbie's been hanging around us too long. He's starting to sound like us. Like seriously
about that.
He's been hanging around us way too much with this wrestling shit because he's starting to sound like us. He's next thing you know, Sports on the Hill is going to become an extension of No Spots.
Yeah, it's true. It actually reminds me. I was supposed to have our graphic up this whole time, and then I haven't. But
And my brothers.
Yeah.
How could we not miss out on the beauty that was Penta versus Ray this afternoon?
Oh yeah.
Oh brother.
Yes, that was
Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the Lucha Libre that this new era of wrestling they're scared of because it's way too good for what they love.
I think it's cool that he gets to bring the AAA style in, and he gets to be the ambassador and gets to be the manager. I love that he's a working manager, that he's like working on Raw and still being the general manager of AAA at the same time. Like that's pretty rare, I would say, in the history. Like to be like wrestling in one promotion and then leading another, right? I just can't think of another time where that's really happened. So it's just it's an interesting dynamic. So.
That match, that's my match of the night right there. I had to pick out that's match of the night easily. This was just fantastic. Ray, I've said this on Sports Huddle as well as No Spots. and I've said this to other people, it is amazing how this guy's been around for 30 years in the business and before then in Mexico. And despite all the injuries and all the surgeries, he's still out there doing it, man. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's one of the rare active. He's one of the rare active Hall of Famers in wrestling.
Yeah,
like he got inducted into the Hall of Fame while still being active.
well, Champion is. I mean, my point about the being like the leader of a promotion and an active wrestler. Does that ever happen? I just honestly, you guys know more about the history, but like,
No.
that's crazy to me. And to be so good. I mean, he still can hit his spots, and yeah, I can't wait until they do the Dom retires his dad angle, right? Because that's got to be the only way that he goes down at this point, you know. So, but
mask versus hair.
yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna have to be. So. But they'd have to have that on like some main like a WrestleMania or something, you know. Like it's, I feel like that would be too big for AAA.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, it would be too big for AAA. What I would do is either Mania next year, or if they insisted on doing in AAA, Triple Mania. Do it there.
Yep.
Yeah. Triple Mania. If you're going to do a AAA card for that, then we definitely need to do Triple Mania, which would be absolutely awesome to have it there. And
I still can't believe that the AAA match. You know, we talked about it, you know, last week, but just seeing the reviews of it though, and how many stars it's getting, and how rare it is to get above a 5-star by some of these, you know, critics, and you know, a lot of people rating it the best match ever, you know, and you know, within WWE, you know, confines, and it's just surprising to me. Like, we knew it was building for a while. We've covered this story all throughout it, but for it to end on a AAA match instead of like on a PLE, it was an interesting, like, you know, Tommy, like, it was an interesting decision by that. I think it worked out in it, and it was a great moment for them. But it's so surprising, I guess, to me.
First of all, people say it was the best match ever. Definitely did not watch WrestleMania and Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm just based on the ratings that Brad Meltzer was putting out, you know.
Fuck Meltzer.
Yeah, fuck Dave Meltzer. Matter of fact, the reason why I came up with the idea that Champ's going to plug in a few minutes where it comes to no spots this Sunday is because what happened was Stevie Richards has a YouTube channel now, and he did his list of 5-star matches. And James Romero, who's his guy who runs everything for wrestling shoot interviews on YouTube, he went through Meltzer's rankings. And when he went through one of the rankings of, I think it was Hulk Andre WrestleMania 3, that, you know, was a 5-star for him. For Stevie, Dave gave it -4 stars. Stevie Richards just went off like, are you high?
I wouldn't have gave it -4 stars, but I definitely wouldn't have gave it 5 stars. It wasn't a 5-star match. It's only a 5-star match because of the iconic moment of someone finally body slamming Andre the Giant. But the match was slow and just perfect for that era.
Well, the way Stevie determines it, though, is the crowd in attendance, the money in the gate, the pay-per-view buys, in the match. That's how he did it all. With me, it's not a 5-star match, but it's got a 5-star moment with the ultimate body slam and everything. And I know the whole story backstage. I've said it on No Spots before. Andre knew this was his last big money singles match. And he knew that he wanted to put Hogan over and pass the torch to him because he helped break Hulk Hogan into the business. So,
yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's give our Final thoughts, Sith, and anything you want to shout out about what's at the basement tonight or this week?
Okay, final thoughts on Raw is I don't get something. We can get a good 2.5 hours of Monday Night Raw, but where it comes to SmackDown, it's it's fine. But there are a lot of weeks when NXT surpasses that, and it's mainly developmental people that we're starting to get used to that are coming up from Evolve.
Mm.
And the 2 hour SmackDowns, which start, I believe, next month, can't come soon enough. Yes, people are going to lose time, but the show will feel a bit more condensed and more put together. So hopefully the show will get better. And overall, I really enjoyed Raw this week. I'm looking forward to finding out what Champs 10 matches are for Sunday. That's going to be fun because he has no idea what my matches are going to be. So it's going to be wild to begin with. And in the basement, yesterday was John Carpenter, Wes Craven, and James Cameron, worst to best, where they all have some bad movies, but then we get to, oh man, these are three of my favorites of all time. And then this Sunday, it's a supernatural thing, which is really going to be cool. But this is pretty bottom heavy, though, because you've got Hellraiser, Paranormal Activity, Flatliners. Yeah, we're going there. The Shining, and a couple of other, The Exorcist, The Omen, and Poltergeist, all in a 45 film countdown. And what I was alluding to on, I think it was No Spots last time, I was mentioning that or in the group chat with y'all, saying I was rewatching something to get ready for this countdown. Well, for the first time since theaters 11 years ago, I rewatched the remake of Poltergeist.
Mm.
What the fuck was wrong with me rewatching this? This was not good. Oh,
Yeah.
Sith just likes torturing himself. That's why I think he's a member of the House of Torture in Japan, because he just loves torturing himself with this kind of crap.
No.
Yeah.
If I wanted to torture myself and I refuse to do this again, I'll sit through Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. There's this part in A Clockwork Orange. I'm going to leave y'all with this because it's funny to me, where Alex DeLarge, in order to, become a member, cure his madness and everything, watches all this exploitive stuff. Eyes are wide open like this, and he's just watching all this and going crazy while watching all this stuff happen on the screen. It's me watching Freddy's Dead. It came out my junior year in high school. It's the worst movie I saw in high school. And it's a film that I think I've watched twice since theaters, and I'm like, fuck this shit. But anywho, Rob, you have take. We're spring finale next week with you.
Yep, this is the spring finale next week, and we're gonna hopefully end it with a championship. But either way, this next week will be the final one.
Let's fucking go Defenders, because guess what, y'all? Hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. I'm a casual fan of the Defenders. I think we got this one.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely watch it on ABC. Maybe you'll catch Champ and me next to the beer snake. And so we're excited to bring our sons and our family and Arun and so it'll be a really fun time. So, so thank you so much for all your great coverage, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next Monday night and next Sunday on No Spots. Y'all take it easy.
Sounds good. All right, Champ. I think we're gonna save maybe the Mystics and Nats talk for after the hockey talk. What do you think about that? And then I'll let you have a little bit of a break, and I can watch a little bit of the Knicks. San Antonio is coming back here to start the third, but I wanted to point out that the Knicks went on a 42-24 outburst in that second quarter. outscored them by 18 points to give themselves that halftime lead. But it looks like the Spurs are coming on strong here to start the third, like they did to start the game. I mean, it was like 9-0 to start the game for the Spurs. I was getting nervous, so. Still a long ways to go. A foul. He got his foot stepped on here, and one of the Spurs did, and so they're having a review of that right now. But yeah, we'll bring you on to talk a little bit more basketball, baseball, a little more Mystics as well towards the tail end of the show. And I'm going to bring in Gil here to talk a little bit of hockey.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
All right. And yeah, with that, I'm going to bring in Gil. We're going to throw in Ovechkin hoisting the cup next to you because it's always a great graphic. Celebrating 8 years of OV, number 8, since he's hoisted that. Gil, this is a crazy Stanley Cup Finals. It's I know you were complaining about having to cover it for us, but it's at least been entertaining. So
it's not the series that we wanted or expected, but it's the series that we got, and it's been surprising in putting your grandmother on a stair lift and it gets the speed gets notched up to 12. Kind of exciting, maybe, but yeah, it's been entertaining somewhat.
right.
If you like ridiculous comebacks and overtimes that shouldn't be, but
yeah. Well, let's get. I don't usually do this when we're not in the cup, but I'm going to break down the scoring in these games because they're so wild and there's so many records that were broken and just so much just shenanigans. I feel like even if I just quickly go through it to give people a sense if they're missing out, because I don't think that the ratings are particularly good for this finals because people don't like these teams, but. It's some pretty entertaining hockey, I have to say. So in the first game that was in Carolina, Carolina immediately takes a 2-goal lead 12 minutes in to the first period, and it looks like they're going to walk away with this. And then suddenly, a minute after that second goal, Shea Theodore scores, makes it 2-1. It puts the seed of doubt. Then in the second period, 30 seconds in, they tie it. So this is one of the records that's broken. Never in the NHL, especially in the Cup Finals, has two teams each scored in the first 30 seconds of a period, opposite teams, one to take a lead, the other to tie it. So wild early shenanigans. Then 4:35, the Knights take a lead. I'm like, oh shit, everything's just kind of falling apart with them. Then Jordan Stahl, the captain, comes back and ties it. Then in the third, it goes back and forth. Vegas scores. Again, early on. I mean, this is just within the first 2 minutes, 1 minute and 21 seconds in. Then Shane Gostisbehere scores to tie it. And then right after that, Tomas Hertl scores to win it. Unfortunately for Vegas, and they win that game 5-4. But we'll start there, Gil. What were some of your thoughts on Game 1?
Yeah, this was the beginning of not knowing what to expect. Nikolai Ehlers comes out with those 2 goals, and they figured, okay, yeah, that's why they spent so much money on him. And you figure, like you said, you kind of figure that Carolina was going to let their forechecking game take over and just kind of put a lid on this thing. Not to be. I don't know what happened to their defensive game, but it has gone completely out the window this whole series, and this was the beginning of that. Letting on our regular podcast, we always say when the Caps do it that it is never a good thing to allow a goal in the first 30 seconds of a period, and that reared its ugly head here, as I like to say, and it just. I don't know what it is about Carolina, but they have gone through spurts where they have just completely, they either lose focus or they've just completely gotten away from their game plan. I can't explain it. Rod Brind'Amour has got to be going out of his mind right now, trying to figure out why his team cannot simply hold on to a lead. But I don't know. I don't have any. I don't think this. I think this series is going to be remembered for the one Stanley Cup Final series that is going to forever defy any explanation you try to give it. Is the best way I can describe it. Is it wildly entertaining? Yes. Is it any representation of how these two teams normally play? No. But I guess that's what makes it all the more fun to watch.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. The next game starts off in a similar fashion, but in reverse, right? So you had Brett Howden scoring 2 goals, one in the first, one in the second, to take a 2-0 lead. It looks really bad at this point for Carolina, right? They're already down 1-0 in the series. They're down 2-0 going into the third period. They basically lose both of these games going back to Vegas down 0-2. They're pretty sunk, in my opinion. You don't come back from losing the first 2 at home very often in the Cup Finals. But in the third, with 10, 20 into the period, so it's like not even with a lot of time left. They score the first one. Then 2 minutes later, score another one, ties it up, and then 3 minutes after that, the captain scores on the power play. They take a 3-2 lead, and you think, oh man, they've got this now. And then Mark Stone scores with less than 2 minutes left, ties it up, goes to overtime, and this becomes a really important overtime because, again, Vegas wins this. I think Carolina is sunk, and Seth Jarvis, the Olympian, comes through in the clutch, and big-time power play goal. I mean, it's pretty stupid to take a penalty. It's one of these things we always talk about. They always score either in the first 5 minutes or it goes to double overtime. And this series is exactly that. What are some of your thoughts on Game 2?
Well, not to be that guy, but I thought the call was a bit, shall we say, soft. I was a little surprised because if you've watched enough playoff overtime games, the standard for calling a penalty goes way up. You either have to throw the puck out of the arena somehow or commit some obviously egregious sin to get called for a penalty in overtime. The call was a trip and it looked a little soft. It probably could have been let go, but it wasn't. I guess to the officials' credit, and then Seth Jarvis, who has a knack for scoring crucial goals, so I'm not really surprised that he got it. Wins it for Carolina, and like you said, they look pretty bad. If you thought they looked bad this game, wait till we talk about the next game. But it didn't look great for them for a while until they mounted that comeback.
It's funny to talk about penalties because I was thinking, I was just looking through it. There was actually, in this game, there was 8 penalties called, which is a lot for a Stanley Cup Finals game. It's interesting. In basketball, they were playing in Game 2 in these NBA Finals, and they were mugging them so hard I thought I was watching a hockey game. It was so strange to me, because usually, you can get ticky-tack fouls for anything in the NBA, and I like it when the whistles go away in both sports a little bit and let them play, right? But this is they were mugging them in every play, and I was at some point you got to call something here. So I was just so shocked. For me, it was kind of they were really trying to give the game to San Antonio in the basketball game, because I was man, San Antonio was just allowed to just do whatever they wanted to these players. And but it was interesting that you say that, because I thought that it was a little bit of a soft goal or a soft call, and it ultimately cost them in this one. Let's get into Game 3 here. This game. It's so wild. So I'm a big fan. We've talked about it before, of Steve Dangle. He was my inspiration for doing a podcast about hockey in the beginning. And he, I think it actually started with the Capitals Stanley Cup run, does a thing called Cup Check, where he pretends he does a Leafs fan reaction video, but does it for the Cup Finals, mostly because Toronto's probably never going to be in the finals, right? So at least he has something to do. So he, I love the cup check that he did for when we won the cup. I actually went back and watched all of them this week to celebrate the 8-year anniversary of us doing it. This, I had to, when I saw the scoring of it, had to go back to listen to. He does a live reaction now to the games, and so you can go back and see his reaction to each one of these. Of course, diehard Toronto fan watching Mitch Marner score more goals in basically a series than he did, like, in all of his time in Toronto in the playoffs, right? So, like, he's got more points now, I think, in this series than he does in, like, all the years combined in the playoffs for Toronto. And more than one hat trick now in these playoffs, but had a 4-point period, which only happened one other time in NHL history, and it was in Stanley Cup history, but it was before the NHL was even involved in it. And so he starts off with an assist, 10:26, and then 20 seconds later scores a goal himself. Then 2 minutes after that scores his second goal, his 9th of the playoffs, and then 2 minutes after that scores his third goal of the game, 4th point of it. It's the fastest hat trick in Stanley Cup history. It's also a natural hat trick, which is always very impressive. And they go 4-0 in the second period, going into the third period at home, up 4-0. Gil, I turned it off. I was like, this game's over. Like, there's no way that Carolina comes back to it. And I get a text from my dad saying, you're watching this hockey game, right? It's 4-3. I'm like, what? And luckily I DVR all of the Stanley Cup Finals games. And so I luckily it doesn't take very long to get a recap of those 3 goals, because they happen in 39 seconds, Gil. It's the fastest 3 goals in Stanley Cup history. And it's wild. Yeah. And then they tie it up on the power play at 18-18. And they've got a new game. And I was convinced that Carolina was going to win it at this point, because, like, whoever gives up a 4-goal lead. And so I love Danhausen, and he cursed all of the Knicks' enemies. But unfortunately, before this game, he cursed Carolina. So you can buy a Danhausen curse for all of the monies, as he says. And it looks like Vegas paid you can do it on Cameo, and I bet that they did, and I'm sure they forked over some money for it. And they cursed him before the game. They showed it on the board. Everyone loved it. I love Danhausen, my favorite wrestler. But unfortunately, the curse worked. And sure enough, it was 1 overtime, not enough time. It goes 2 overtimes, and it's a bounce off the end boards, off of a Carolina player, off the leg of the goalie, and in. The worst way to end it. But yeah, Gil, talk about this game. This is I don't even know how to
Where to begin? I guess let's begin at the end, if that is as weird as that. It was like watching the most dramatic horror movie ever. Only to find out the killer is a 2-foot-tall midget that was just poking people in the right guasha spot, and that's how they were doing it the whole time. And the police are clueless the whole time. It was a great game to watch, except for that lull, after the second period. From the second period, the middle of the second period into about, I want to say 5 minutes into the third. Great big lull, because it sure did look like Carolina had given up, and going on to the next game. But Carolina decided to do something that maybe they should have done earlier in the series, and that's switch goalies for the start of the third period. So they take Freddie Anderson out, put Brandon Bussey in, who, if you compare them, his numbers are actually better over the regular season, this past regular season. But they went with Anderson because he's got the more experience. Well, as we saw, have been seeing, he's been a bit shaky. So they start Bussy in the third period. Next thing you know, he stops everything that's thrown at him. And that kind of can get used as a springboard if your goalie is bending himself backwards to keep you in the game no matter what. Then that can have an effect on your team, and sooner or later, it did and does here in this game. Martinook starts to come back. There's that 3 goals in a row. Here's a really insane record. As fast as that happened, the all-time regular season fastest 3 goals by one team was done not only by one player, it was done in 21 seconds. Make of that what you will. But yeah, Martinook starts to rally. Taylor Hall gets the second one. And then Jordan Stahl, who I think has been the MVP easily for the Canes, caps it. And then they get that power play, and Svechnikov puts it away, sends it to OT. And then that stupid goal at the end. It's going to be very interesting to see how they react, how they come back from that.
I fell asleep during the second overtime intermission and woke up to the goal horn. I was so mad. Liz was trying to keep me awake, but I couldn't. It was so it's so late, and I was just so spent. But oh man, what a crazy.
This series has been emotionally exhausting, and we're not even all that invested in it.
I know.
Imagine being we got to get Ryan back on.
I tried. I've been texting him. I've heard nothing from him. He doesn't want to jinx it. I don't think. He hasn't responded to any of my texts. So he's gone silent.
Need therapy after all this is over. I swear.
Yeah. It's wild. This is so. I guess the big question is, which goalie do you go with in the next game?
Oh, it's no question for me. Brandon Bussy stopped everything, and it took the luckiest shot in the world to get one past him.
Yeah.
So in my mind, there is no question. You put in Brandon Bussy because he's the one that so far is keeping you in the series and giving you the best chance to win. I have not seen anything from Freddie Anderson this series that is indicative of somebody worthy of being in the goal for a team trying to win a cup. I'm sorry. He may have been dominant the first 2 series.
There was talk through the first 3 series that he was a Conn Smythe candidate. It's just so interesting that
maybe the numbers bear that out. Maybe
it did at the time. I mean, he was 13. It was 12-1.
If you go by wins, sure. Which apparently,
but he was still. But it was like
general managers voting on the Vezina Trophy go by.
Right, but I'm just saying 900 save percentage on that, I mean, would be enough if he could have continued it through all of the games. But now it'll be interesting to see what happens here. No, but I agree with you. Yeah, it was funny because Steve Dangle said something in the postgame for Game 2 to the effect of they won that game, but maybe, Frederik Andersen isn't the guy anymore, but the only way that he's getting knocked out of it because of his previous success is if he has a really bad period, and then Bussy comes in, but he said at the time he would still even go back to Frederik after that. Now, that was a game before it actually happened. I don't know if he feels that way now, but I think I'm with you, but it will be really interesting to see where it goes, especially because you've got a little bit of leeway. We do need to steal one back here, but you're still going back home, and you can put Frederik Andersen in the next one if it doesn't work out, right? And then he'd be a little more rested, and hopefully get his head straight. But man, San Antonio just has gone on a big time run here. It's taken a 3-point lead, yeah, it's getting a little bit chippy, and yeah, New York is down 3 here with 4:14 left in the third, and they're taking Cat out, and we're going to try to see how the bench does. with this one. It's been a very exciting game. So, the upcoming games for this series for the Cup, we do have Game 4 tomorrow. We've been talking about it. It's 8 o'clock on ABC, and be really interesting to see if the Hurricanes can find a way to steal one in Vegas. We know all about stealing one as a metropolitan team in Vegas, so hopefully that happens. On Thursday, it'd be back to Carolina for that Game 5, and then if necessary, Game 6 in Vegas would be on Sunday. The time is to be determined. It will be on ABC, and then the following Wednesday would be the Game 7. So next week we'll either be able to crown a champion and talk about that, or preview a Game 7. So that'll be our last podcast of the season, the spring season. But it'll be a good way to end it either way, I think, Gil. But any final thoughts that you have on the Cups, the upcoming games, and things like that?
It's cliche, but I guess the only thing you can say is expect the unexpected. That's about the only thing that has come true this whole series. That which means there is probably going to be some unsung hero that we haven't heard from or heard a lot from, that surprisingly or unsurprisingly may come to the fore, and it may well be Brandon Bussey, but it may also be somebody else that breaks the tie late in the game or scores another overtime goal that we haven't heard a lot from. So I would say maybe look for that, but yeah, it's I don't know. I am dumbfounded with how crazy this series has been, but it's
at least it's worth watching.
Entertaining.
Versus like
so.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that maybe we can shine a little bit of a light onto it, because I know a lot of Caps fans have kind of tuned out, which I understandably so, knowing the teams that are involved, and a lot of fans I think have tuned out. But it's it'll be interesting. New York just missed a free throw there. Would have tied the game. They're down by 1, 81-82 as Spurs have the ball, and they're driving in, and we're able to go up and score there, take a 3-point lead with about 3:15 left in the third. We'll be talking a little bit more about that with Champ. But Gil, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out. We brought back an old podcast episode. If you check out facebook.com/SportsOTHP, in honor of 8 years of us winning the Cup, we did a pregame special. It was one of the things that we were very superstitious, shockingly, on this run. And so we had won almost every game that we had done a pregame for. And so we decided to do a cross promotion. It was the first time you used your call-in line. And it was a great episode. It was really fun to sort of, just like we are today, sort of in the middle of a Cup run, talking about, how things are going and analyzing it. It's a very similar vibe. You have a sense that we're very excited. We don't know that that next game that we're previewing is the last at the time, but we knew the vibes were good, and it was fun to recap the 2 previous wins, because we ultimately won 4 games in a row. We talk a lot about momentum and how important that is to a series, so it's interesting to hear Tortorella talk about momentum in a recent press conference. It's just a really fun episode to go back and listen to, where we were 8 years ago and where we are today. And I hope that people go back and take a listen to that one for sure.
So, if anyone's curious, it was episode number 72 of the Power Play Point podcast. And as you said, it was our first time using our the conference line that we use. So I'd almost completely forgotten about that was when we broke that out, and naturally you were our first guest
Right.
using that. So and it was perfect setting with the Cup run, but I titled the episode "On the Dream's Edge" because you could feel it in your hand. But like you said, we were kind of, Caps fans are so used to getting that last disappointment. We didn't want to,
Jinx
didn't want to.
it. Yeah.
You
No,
could feel the tension.
right, you can, and it's a really good listen. It's a really cool time capsule, almost more so than after we won it, which is also a really great episode. My all-time favorite episode of Sports on the Hill podcast, is the one that we did. I'm just so mad that Facebook decided to get rid of all the lives. I have downloaded them, so I have them on a hard drive somewhere. But this is why I simul stream, and so things can't get lost anymore. But I really loved that episode that we did after the Cup. Bringing in so many Caps fans, and so this is sort of like the yin and yang to that, the right before and the right after. So there's some of my favorite stuff that we've done, and so yeah, the link is up on facebook.com/sportsothp if you guys want to give a listen. I will say that you cannot find it on any platform except for Podbean, because unfortunately it's so far back that even if you go to iHeartRadio and stuff like that, you can't scroll far enough back to it. But it might be on Spotify. I didn't check that one, but I do know that if you go to Podbean, the app itself, and that's the best way to get to it, because then you can get the link and it just goes right there. So, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and it's fun to. I know that wasn't quite the beginning of our relationship. We had actually started a few months earlier, doing these shows together. But I kind of feel like that's like the solidifying moment of where our podcasts are kind of forever intertwined at that point, from that point forward. So it's definitely a fun listen, and thank you for helping me break down the playoffs sans the Capitals this year. It's been a fun ride. I am going to try to get a couple other people possibly on next week, so I'm so confused, 'cause I thought there was going to be a Cup Final game on a Monday, but then they changed it to putting it on a Sunday, I guess. So I'm not.
I really don't understand the scheduling. I thought that I've been kind of following the NBA Final too.
Yeah.
I thought the next game was going to be last night, not tonight. And
Right.
they did the same thing with the Stanley Cup Final. They give that 2-day break.
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, it was while it was not a travel break for the hockey.
Right.
I can understand the 2 days between game 2 and 3 because it was travel involved, but
They've changed this hockey schedule 3 times, Gil. I've never seen something be released and then redacted and released. I'm telling you, I've seen it from official outlets, and it's been changed 3 times. I have screenshots of the original 2 times that I saw it. So unless these are pretty major reputable outlets, they don't usually just release random, guesses, on these things, and just very strange. Because I was so excited. We were gonna have a live basketball one this week, and then the live Stanley Cup for the last show of the season, and then they're like, actually, we're gonna move it to Sunday, right? So anyway, weird stuff with the scheduling. So I don't know if maybe the buildings weren't available, or I don't know what happened, but very strange. But either way, it actually makes it so we can recap Game 6 instead of doing it live. But it would have been fun to cover Game 6 live. But anywho, Gil, any final things you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just throwing something out, Caps related. We're 2 weeks away from the draft. So with that in mind, Dan Holme, my friend of mine, hosts the daily Locked On Capitals podcast, did a feature on a draft pick, the first round draft pick, Lyndon Lakovich, that they selected last year, where he is, kind of season he had this year, where he is on the prospects radar. So posted that link on the Power Play Podcast Facebook page. So I highly recommend giving that a listen. I've been saying this for a while. I don't expect a whole lot to happen in the draft, but I will give something of a summation of what happens in the draft, as far as a quick review of the prospects that are drafted, any trades that are made, though I doubt that'll happen. So look for that in the coming weeks.
Well, New York was down 5, and I was like, man, they're just not looking good. And then, boom, back to back, hit a 3, ties it at 89. 40 seconds left here. I'm going to keep it here for just 1 second, and then we're going to bring Champ in to give his thoughts on this third quarter, as well as give a Mystics weekend review. Oh, San Antonio was like, nah. Hold my beer. I'll hit a 3-2 and got 92, 89 here. 30 seconds left. 20 on the shot clock. Dylan Harper with that one hits 13 points. That was his first 3 after 5 attempts. The Knicks here got 10 seconds left on the shot clock. We got 17 on the game clock. He pulls up and shoots from inside the paint there. It makes it a 1-point game. San Antonio is up. They've got the ball. 9 seconds left here. They shoot it. It rims out. Tries to tip it up and in, and they get the rebound there. So San Antonio takes a 1-point lead going into the third. So after having the Knicks have a really good second quarter, San Antonio answers and has a really good third. It'll be a 1-point game into the fourth quarter. So it'll be fun to break down some of this fourth quarter live. It's been a crazy series so far. Obviously, the Knicks are trying to go up 3-0. No team has ever won the NBA Finals when losing the first 2 games at home. So that's what the Spurs are up against here as the Danhausen curse is in effect. And we'll see how that ends up. But thank you so much, Gil. I really appreciate all the coverage. And we won't have a live game next week, but it'll be fun to recap maybe the end or maybe a Game 7.
We'll see. But hard to tell what's going to happen. But yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, sounds good. If you were to make a guess, just one last thing. I know you expect the unexpected. Do you think we'll know an answer, and who do you think would? I mean, my gut is if we know by Game 6, it's probably Vegas. But we've seen stranger things happen.
I would not be surprised if Carolina somehow finds a way to rally from even a fluke loss like this. But then again, Vegas seems to be getting a lot of the bounces, so I'm leaning towards Vegas at this point because Carolina, like I said, just keeps abandoning their game for some reason, and Vegas is taking advantage at the right times. But really hard to tell overall. But that
it comes down to goaltending for me. If Carolina can figure out their goaltending, I think that they can make a comeback in the series.
Yeah.
And if they can't, I just don't think they've got enough firepower right now to compete with Vegas, which is strange because I didn't feel that way in the previous series, but the goaltending, I think, did hide some of the deficiencies there. So, awesome. Well, thank you, Gil. We're going to bring in back in Champ, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. I'll be here.
All right. Champ, I'm going to step off for just a second to refill my water, but can you give your thoughts on any of the third quarter and then also the Mystics as well? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's possible. So I've been sitting here watching this game, and it's crazy because I look up because I'm playing Xbox as well, and it was like 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. So I'm thinking, okay, by the time I look up again, it'll be the end of the third quarter, already in the fourth quarter. And then I look up, and it looked like 3 minutes had elapsed, but it felt like I hadn't looked at the game for like 10. Long third quarter, but the Knicks definitely need to get it together because they've had a lead for a lot of that third quarter, but they allowed San Antonio to start bringing it back and also making some shots from, the 3-point line and really getting into this game. So they're going to really have to buckle down and get it together. They're going to go up 3-0 and potentially have a clincher coming up in a day or so back at MSG. So they're going to have to do something in the fourth quarter if they're going to make that happen. But let's talk about the Mystics. So this week they had a game against the Chicago Sky, which they won by a score of 90-72. Kiki Irefren with a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. Michaela, she had 13 points and 7 rebounds. And then Shakira Austin came close to a double-double. She had 17 points and 8 boards in the victory against the Chicago Sky, but then came back and they lost. They went down to Atlanta and lost big, 109-77. Kiki, another very solid game, scoring 24 points, to go along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Sonia Citron, one of my favorite players that they drafted recently, had 18 points and she had 6 dimes. Angel Reese for Atlanta had a mean double-double, 18 points and 17 rebounds. So a really up and down week for the Mystics, who currently sit outside of the playoff bubble at 11th in the entire WNBA and only 5th in their respective conference. But of course, WNBA changed the playoff rules, and now you have to if it's the top 8 based on records is what gets into the playoffs. So, and then of course tonight they lost in a heartbreaking fashion to the Indiana Fever. So another loss, 2 losses in a row for the Mystics. After that win over Chicago, they lost 2 in a row, and then they have 2 more games coming up this week. They will be hosting one of the newer teams in the WNBA, that being the Toronto Tempo. That'll be a game on June the 12th. And that'll be at most likely at Care First Arena in DC. And then after that, a day off, they will head up to good old New York, who could be celebrating an NBA championship, but they will have the New York Liberty to deal with on the 14th. So that will be another game for the Mystics. And again, the season for the Mystics can go by just that quickly, and it can end up being you turn around and you're either in the playoffs or you're not. As right now, Spurs trying to drive, they're already up 3, blocking a foul. We have Robbie back with us. So Robbie, just to summarize what I just said, the Mystics are playing a little bit up and down. They had the win against Chicago, then got blown out in Atlanta. Then they lost tonight, so they lost 2 in a row, and they have to deal with one of the newer teams, which is the Toronto Tempo, but that's a home game before they have to head up to New York and play the Liberty. But Sonia Citron and Kiki, they are really proving to be leaders on this team after getting drafted last year. And so they're the ones that are basically leading the charge when it comes to the offensive side of things. But just like with the Wizards, defense seems to escape this team, because as you see by the scores, they're giving up a lot of points, more than they can score. So they need to figure that out. Free throw made by San Antonio. Knicks got to get it together. If they want to take this to a 3-0, they got to get it together.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of impressed with their play against the Fever. They were down big in this game, and they needed to respond, and they almost won it. And a big time 3 by Clark, and stuff like that. Wow, what a play! Good defense by the Knicks, though, to get back on that. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I think the Mystics are moving in the right direction. At least it was cool to get to watch a game. I'm happy that NBC Sports has a channel again. I didn't even know. I tuned it on. And it was like, here's a Mystics game. I'm like, wait, I can watch it in split screen with the. I was like, hell yeah, because most of the games are on Monumental and you can't get them on YouTube TV, which is annoying. I still think that I wish that they would make a deal with them where you have to pay extra and just get the channel like you do with HBO or whatever. Let me watch it in YouTube TV. Then it's such a it makes me so frustrated that they can't work this out. It's a problem. Because then you could get Wizards, you could get, I don't know, you get all the Capitals games that way. It would be so much better.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm just salty. Yeah, I'm excited about the Mystics, though, and their progression, because I think they're moving in the right direction from what I've at least seen. So, at least
yeah. I mean, they drafted smart. They drafted smart, and that's why they're in the position that they're in now, even though their record isn't the best. They are 1 game under 500 at 4-5, and again, 11th overall in the WNBA and 5th in their conference. So, again, it's been an up and down early part of the season, but hopefully with Kiki and with Sonia being there and being such good scorers along with Austin, this is a team that could potentially find their groove, and then if they're not a contender this year, they will definitely be a contender next year, honestly, because like I said, they drafted smart, and they got some really good pillars and stars on there that can really carry this team. So I share your excitement that with what we're seeing so far from this team. I'm just hopeful. I'm just having a lot of hope that we don't see too much of a regression to the point that they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Sorry, just some crazy back and forth action going on, and
yeah, they're getting real physical late in this
I don't know if
game.
you watched Game 2,
No.
but holy moly, most physical NBA Finals game I've ever seen. I was talking to my dad about it. It was like he thought, and I thought it was weird how little it was being called. Like that's a weird feeling. Like, and I like physical basketball, and I like it when they suck up the whistles and you don't hear about it. But like, there was a mugging on every play, and I was like, you can't be just like holding them down and just ripping stuff out. It was. And it seems so favored San Antonio. It seems like the league does not want this to be as short as the Knicks want to make it, and so they're basically letting San Antonio have their way with them, and just like, and they would call like stupid ticky tack fouls the other way against the Knicks, and like 2 in a row on Cat, and that would force him into foul trouble that he'd have to go sit down. Yeah, it's just like, fuck you guys, and then not call a foul for the next 6 minutes, and like, of course, right, like.
They finally read the script. That's what it was. They read the script.
Right, exactly. And the Knicks were able to win anyway with all of that, which I think was even more impressive. And so you're seeing a little bit more of that in this game here. They're down 7 now with 8:40, but still plenty of time. The Knicks can go on these crazy runs here, so they just got to play a little bit of defense and force the pressure here a little bit. And up and under. Oh, it didn't go in, but a nice tip in there by Cat. Or is it Cat? Oh, no, it wasn't Cat. It was, or maybe it was. Anyway. Yeah, so we got it's a 5-point game here. Oh, nice. Make them have a wild 3-point shot. Whoa, wait. They just said there was a foul? Ugh. Oh, it was Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, it wasn't Cat. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of Nationals for a second, and then we'll finish up with a couple other things.
Yeah. Well, the Nationals, another up and down week for them, where they still haven't swept the series. They've come very close, but they haven't gotten there. But they got swept by their division rivals, the Marlins. They won the first 2 games by identical scores of 7-3, and then the Nats lost the finale 4-1. So taking a sweep in the division, not very good. Then they would take off to the West Coast, and they would take 2 of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks, winning the first 2 games, which is their MO this season. They'll win the first 2 games, and then you get hope that maybe they can sweep, and then they lose the last game. That's what happened here. 6-1, they won the first game, and then they trounced them in game 2, 14-1, but then they lose the finale 5-1. So their next series, they already begun a 3-game series, as it's going to be a short road trip out on the West Coast for them. They played 3 games against the Giants, and then they'll come home after a day off, and they'll take on the Mariners for a 3-game series coming in for the weekend. So Nationals still with issues with the pitching. They're currently 3rd in the NL East. They are at 500 before they started this game tonight. At 33-33, they're 12 games back of the Atlanta Braves for the top spot in the division, and they're only 2.5 behind the dreaded Phillies for second place. That was a heck of a 3 and the harm.
Oh, fuck.
the hoop and the harm. You don't want to do that. But yeah, no. Nationals gotta get their pitching together. Otherwise, they're not gonna do very well in a lot of these games.
This is not looking good. Not looking good. But I kind of like both the games were so physical and so close. I felt like San Antonio wasn't going to go down 3-0. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're not that much better, right? I think that New York is a better team, but you have to be a lot better to go up 3-0. You know, I kind of knew the second that Trump was going to this game that it was not going to go well for the New York.
I told you, he
And I haven't
always
seen
finds a
Danhausen.
way.
They needed
He
to make
always finds
Danhausen.
a way to make what's fun not fun.
Yes. Ugh. What a bummer. What a bummer. Um. All right. I was trying to think if there's anything else that we needed to talk about. So we talked about the Nats upcoming
We have,
schedule.
you know what we haven't talked about, Robbie, and I'm going to
What's that?
start looking this up. We haven't talked about the Commander's schedule. It's out.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it. I'm about to look it up right now.
There you go. I'll put up the graphic. So yeah. Actually, I can post it on screen. That'll probably make it easier.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. I'll throw it up real quick. I gotta do this.
This is the same stuff we do on my podcast. We be just doing stuff when we're recording. It's just like, hey,
yeah, it's true.
Raw but real.
All right, wait. I think this will make this appear there.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me just
maximize the window.
Hold on. Sorry. I'm gonna do this and then. There. Sorry. I'm used to having 3 people on the screen, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of adjusting on the fly. And there we go. Awesome. Pro OBS work right there, live. All right. We've got the preseason schedule. We got the Dolphins is the first one. Then we got the Lions is the second one, and then of course we always play the Ravens. August 28th. And what are your thoughts? We'll start there. What are your thoughts on the preseason matchups?
I'm not hopeful for big wins and stuff like that. What I'm hopeful for is that the individuals they drafted, the individuals they signed in free agency, they can all mesh well, and we can find and see some depth at many of the positions on both sides of the football. Because that was, I think, one of the big issues from last season, why we went from being a playoff team to having a top 10 draft pick, is the fact that we dealt with a lot of injuries, and the depth that was behind those injuries wasn't the standard to be able to keep this team being competitive last season. So I'm hopeful with these games that we get to see what we have in terms of depth and see what we have in case we have another situation of injuries that could hamper this team's progress.
Yeah. The schedule's kind of weird this year. I was just looking at like the timing of when we're gonna bring back the podcast. I wanted to bring back the 7th, but that's also Labor Day, and I just feel like people are gonna want that day off. So we may actually just bring it back the week after the first week of the season, just to recap the Eagles and just leave it at that. We'll definitely, as we always do, release our thoughts on the graphic of our predictions, so people can see before the opening game where we think we're going to be at. I just think that with my kids starting a new school and everything, we may just come back on the 14th, so I hadn't even looked at that yet, but that would be after the Eagles game, which is our season opener, regular season opener, that is. And I'm going to switch up the graphic here so that way you can see it a little bit easier. So they play the Eagles first, then we got the Cowboys and an afternoon game in Dallas in week 2. We got the Seahawks, which will be a 1:00 game.
Robbie, let's stop right there. Look at the first 3 games of our new season. 2 of them are division games, and then the third game is against the defending fucking Super Bowl champions. We had a 5-12 record, and our first 3 games are the murderous gauntlet. of 2 division games against hated rivals and then the Super Bowl champs.
On the road.
Yeah, the first 2 are division games on the road, and then yay, we get our first home game of the season, but it's against the Super Bowl champions. That. Oh man, but keep going.
If we win 2 of them, we would be like super ecstatic, So that's why it's hard to want to come back before the season starts. Anyway, but we got the Colts is the next one. So we at least get back-to-back, home games, which is good, I guess. So that one's October 4th. That one's going to be... that's the game that's fucking international, right? That's the 9:30 a.m. game. That's...
I think that is the international
Yeah, it's
game.
a London game. Yep. So...
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't get any easier. 3 tough games, and then you got to go on a hell of a road trip that's considered home. Anyway,
let's just keep going because
right. So we get 3 home games in a row, but
but one of them is in London,
right? So then we gotta then play the Giants 7 days later. It's not even like we get a bye after that, right? No. Anyway. So then we got to play the Giants. And then after that, I got the 49ers, another tough out. 49ers are good. That one is a Sunday night football game, I want to say, right? Yeah.
Nope, that's Monday night.
That's Monday night?
Yeah, that's Monday night.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is Monday night.
Yeah, that's Monday night. And then we get our bye.
Then they have a bye. Then they have the Sunday night football game.
Yeah, against the Eagles.
Right. That was at home, at least, but still tough. And then we got to play the Rams. I hate that we have to play this division.
Bring Matthew Stafford here, because if he's retiring after this season, I want him to remember coming to Northwest Stadium before he retires.
But, dude, that division was, one of the best divisions in football last year. We had to play all of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then we get to go to New York. Woo. And that's only 4 days later. So that's a Thursday night game, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then right after that, at least we got a little bit of a break because it goes Thursday to then another Monday night football game, right? Is that right? I think that's how it goes. Or is it a Sunday night football game? What's the 23rd of November? I don't even know. That is Monday night. Yeah,
it is Monday night.
Yeah, we have 2 games live that we'll stream in the fall, which some years have been really good to us and some years really bad. I don't know how that's going to... we've had quite the range in those over the season. We had a 5-year period, remember, Champ, where we did not win one, and then we had a 4-year period where we couldn't, lose one, right? So we've seen it go both ways. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes this year. And then we play the Cardinals, which are such I never know what to think of the Cardinals, right? That's one of those really strange, especially in Arizona, because sometimes they really show up to play at home.
We did beat them a couple of seasons ago in Arizona.
That's true.
It was Jaden's rookie season.
Right.
It was Jaden's rookie season.
We got the Titans. Hopefully they're not to be remembered, and they are terrible again in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a dub.
Right, I think so. And then we get to play the Texans. So I'm happy we get to play some of the teams in that division. That one's at least at home. The Texans are another one of those teams where, early in the season they could look terrible, and late in the season they go on crazy surges, and this is late in the season. So, but I don't know how the Texans feel about playing in that weather December 13th. That might be an advantage for us. We then play the Falcons also in the weather the next week, potentially. So that might be a nice little run there. Then we play the Vikings, time to be determined on the December 27th game. And then January...
Hey, they better win in Minnesota. That's my son's birthday. They better win in Minnesota.
Nice.
We have problems.
Yeah, I'm not even going to be in the country for that game. But yes, I do hope that we win that game. And we will be on our winter break at that point. But then we come back and play 2 games in January. That's so wild to me, right?
That's crazy.
There was times where like you don't get any January games or you're in the playoffs, and now they get 2 regular season games. Anyway, so the third are the Jags. They're starting like I feel like a week late. But anyway, they're playing the Jags. Again, time to be determined. That one is a January 3rd game, and so that is it's a Sunday. We just don't know when on that Sunday.
I'm glad it's on January 3rd because as a wrestling fan, January 4th, that nothing else should be going on because that's Wrestle Kingdom Day. So nothing else going on. So I'm so glad it's on January 3rd because I don't want to have to be focused and stressed out about the Commanders and trying to watch one of the greatest wrestling events in Japanese professional wrestling.
Right, and it's the Jaguars. You never know what you're going to get with that team, right? So that's could be falling apart, could be a late surge, don't know. And then the last game of the season is against the Cowboys. That one's at home, January 10th, which is wild to me. That's so late in January. So we don't know when on that Sunday it's going to happen.
Robbie, you've been in FedEx Field / Northwest Stadium when it's been cold, right?
Yeah.
You know how cold it gets in that building,
right?
When you're in the stands, and it's even worse if you're sitting underneath the overhead.
Mm-hmm.
That wind swirls through there. Ooh, Lord.
I've seen, I think, like every type of weather at that stadium. It's funny because, like, talking about Cowboys game, one of my favorite season openers I ever did, this is the season finale, is against the Cowboys, where the fog is rolling in at near midnight, and, like, it just becomes this creepy field thing, and we're up, and it looks like, what was... Oh, it looked like it was going to be a touchdown for Dallas, but in the end, it was called back because it was an offensive holding call. Do you remember this game? And so it was going to be it was going to be a touchdown throw by Tony Romo, I want to say, and instead it was called offensive holding, end of game. And so you saw the entire Cowboys fans light up because they took we were winning. They took the lead. They thought they beat us, and all of us fell into our chairs. And then they called that hold, and it was on, I want to say, Brian Arakpo.
Jalen Brunson is starting to heat up now. He getting mad now.
Nice.
He just got the hoop and the foul.
All right. Could cut it to a 4-point game. Timothy Chalamet. Getting excited. I know that's where Dan Housen wanted to be sitting. But yeah, Brunson is that's the best marketing gimmick I've ever seen, champ. Like he sold out so much shit for both WWE and Knicks. Like, fucking brilliant.
People like Tony Khan don't realize. I mean, his father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way, but. Nothing against Tony Khan, but he just doesn't know how to book talent properly. And he had Danhausen in his employ for about 3-4 years. And now he's over here at WWE being a marketing freaking genius. And I'm pretty sure Tony Khan is ready to tweet the sickos to be all mean and stuff. But yeah. It's incredible. It's just incredible.
Liz is over here rooting for the Spurs.
Of course she is.
Yeah, she's from Texas, and we got married.
Yeah, I'm about to say she's from Texas. Of course, she's gonna root for the Spurs.
Right, and we got married in San Antonio.
It's the closest major city to my hometown.
Is it?
Yes,
it's closer.
San Antonio is the closest city to my hometown. Houston's 4 hours away.
Oh yeah, and San Antonio is 2.5. Yeah, 2. Yeah.
It's 2.
Yeah.
It's only 120 miles.
Yeah, I forgot that San Antonio is so close to Corpus, but yeah.
That's why we got married there.
Yeah. Anyway, oh wait, they said that. What's the call? The San Antonio's up 6. It looks like. Why did they?
What is the call? I'm trying to figure out what the call is.
Yeah, I mean everyone's just going crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think the script is in. They get New York up out of here.
Yeah, they are. You notice that New York's getting close, and.
Yeah, they get them up.
What's the call? I don't have any idea.
I think it was a foul on the Spurs.
An inadvertent whistle or something? No, because 6 seconds left. When they reset the shot clock? So I don't know. I always see here.
Oh, offensive rebound. Oh, nope. Okay. Knicks had a couple shots at it, but nope.
And he couldn't miss that shot in the previous game. Oh God, dribble infiltration. Nice rebound there.
No.
Oh.
Oh man, this is getting interesting. Knicks are not out of it. There's still plenty of time left.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
gotta figure
There's
it
a
out.
lot of time left. All right.
45 minutes.
Yeah. There's 45 minutes left. It's 4:50 left. That's probably true.
That's why I don't like basketball.
Yeah, I don't blame you. She doesn't like the NBA because the last 5 minutes takes like
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's how the third quarter felt like, Liz. I mean, for real. That's how
Yeah.
the third quarter. It felt like it went on for like 60 minutes, man. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna end this screen share. But yeah, it is an interesting schedule. But Champ, any final thoughts on it?
It's crazy that we seemingly have one of the toughest schedules, even though we didn't have one of the best records last season. So I find that to be a bit.
I just think that the division has a tough schedule. Like I feel like all these teams are gonna have to play all those teams. Like it's not like because the divisions are gonna be the same, like across the board.
Yeah, but you know that the main goal is you got to win within your division, honestly. And I would love for this team to be able to get sweeps against the Eagles and the Giants and the Cowboys. That'd be awesome, but we'll have to see how they do starting with preseason and see what we got.
Damn, just nothing's going down for the Knicks right now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is the fucking president jinxed them. All right, we'll see here. Oof. All right. Well, let people know what's happening on this week's episodes of the No Spots podcast and any other streams you're doing on your channel.
Absolutely. So we already put out episode 334. That is out now on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, where we talked about Clash in Italy, gave our thoughts on Clash in Italy, as well as all the fallout from this week in wrestling. And then final thoughts goes all over the place. So you just got to listen to it to understand. And then coming up this weekend, we are going to be doing episode 335, where since we don't have a PLE or pay-per-view to talk about, we are going to do a countdown of our top 10 favorite 5-star matches. Yes, we're going to use Dave Meltzer's Rudy Poo rating system and the rated matches that he had a 5-star, and we're going to do a top 10 on that. So we have that coming up. And then, of course, on Tuesday, we have the finale of the Best of the Super Juniors Rewind. We're going to talk about the championship. We're going to talk about the semifinal before the finale, as well as the final night of block. And we're going to crown my friend Sage his crown because he went back to back in being the best at the predictions for Best of the Super Juniors. He always says it's his favorite tournament, and he shows it with the predictions every year. So congratulations to Sage on that one. We'll crown him on the finale and all that good stuff. So that's what we have upcoming. Make sure you check us out on Twitch, Kick, and on Facebook. Kick and Twitch are at True No Spots Pod, and on Facebook, it's facebook.com/No Spots Pod. We appreciate everything and every bit of listening y'all can do.
I appreciate all of the stuff that you guys do for this show as well. Definitely a fun show over there with Sith and Champ, and it's always a good time, and I enjoy your insights. And they're trying to figure out who this is out of bounds off of right now. There's like slow mowing it and replaying it and a million different stuff, but it's. We'll definitely next week, Sports on the Hill podcast, episode 416. We're gonna have our thoughts on how these NBA finals are shaping up. Let me just go through those real quickly. The upcoming games if people want to watch beyond this, although I hope that people go and watch this game because it's pretty good. Wednesday will be game 4. Saturday will be game 5. And then they're skipping 2 days again, and Tuesday is Game 6, and then Wednesday is Game 7. So we'll know how the first 5 games go, and if there's a champion, we'll crown them, and if not, we'll preview a Game 6 and 7 next week as part of it. Same thing with the hockey. We'll either crown a cup champion or preview a Game 7 in that one. We'll talk about the defenders either repeating as champions or fallen and our experiences going to the game. We'll get pictures and videos and put that up there. I'm really excited to see everybody. Definitely, if you're going to the game and you're listening to this, shoot me a message. We'll definitely try to get a picture and hang with all the different people. I want to give a little scoring update. The Nationals did lead the Giants 1-0, but the Giants just scored and tied at 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Knicks right now are trying to pass it around to try to get a look here. And a big time block by Wemby. Spurs are up 108 to 100. 4 minutes left. It looks like San Antonio is going to hold on and win this and make this a 2-1 series, but you never know. People should go tune in if they want to see the rest of that. So we'll talk Nationals, we'll talk Mystics, we'll talk Defenders. We'll also talk about the 2 finals. And oh wow, that rimmed out. Maybe there's still some luck for New York left here. 3:40 left. He tries to go up and they call the foul. So it looks like Brunson's probably going to go to the line here. And Wemby is pretty upset with himself with that. So, what a block there. But yeah, what a great game this has been. And Champ, any final thoughts before we head out?
No, just go Defenders, win back to back, and let's have some fun on Saturday. It's gonna be a great time. Go Kigenyo and sayonara.
Thank you, everybody. It's been fun. I appreciate all the support, and we're going to end this here. We're not going to do a raid tonight. I appreciate you all. We'll be back for, the season finale next week, and we will talk Defenders, Nats, Mystics, and all the NBA and NHL finals. I really appreciate all the support all season long. Thank you guys for